The Ghost Ship. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Once upon a time, in a small coastal town called Harborville, there was a legend about a mysterious ship. This ship was not an ordinary one, it was a ghost ship. The people of Harborville spoke in hushed tones about the eerie vessel that sailed the seas without a crew. The story began one foggy evening when young Tommy and his friends, Sarah and Jake, decided to explore the old lighthouse by the sea. The lighthouse had been abandoned for years, and many believed it was haunted. Despite the warnings, the trio was excited and curious. As they approached the lighthouse, they noticed something strange. The fog seemed thicker than usual, and the sound of the waves crashing against the rocks was louder. They could barely see a few feet ahead, but their excitement pushed them forward. Inside the lighthouse, everything was covered in dust and cobwebs. The air felt cold, and the floorboards creaked with every step. As they climbed the spiral staircase, Sarah's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Chapter 2, The Discovery. At the top of the lighthouse, they found an old, dusty telescope. Tommy, the most adventurous of the group, looked through it. He gasped and quickly handed it to Sarah. "Look! Out at sea!" Sarah took a look and saw what had startled Tommy. There, in the distance, was a ship. It seemed to glow with an otherworldly light, and it moved silently through the water. There were no sails, no crew, just the ship itself. "It's the ghost ship," whispered Jake, his eyes wide with fear and wonder. The ship's eerie glow reflected off the dark water, making it look even more mysterious. It moved without any visible means of propulsion, gliding smoothly as if it were a phantom. The three friends watched in silence, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. Chapter 3, The Investigation. The next day, the trio couldn't stop thinking about the ghost ship. They decided to visit Old Man Jenkins, the town's historian, who knew all the old stories and legends. Old Man Jenkins lived in a small, cluttered house filled with books and artifacts. When they told him about the ship, his eyes grew serious. "You saw it, didn't you? The Phantom of the Sea." He explained that the ghost ship had been seen for centuries. According to legend, it was once a pirate ship captained by the ruthless Captain Blackbeard. During a fierce storm, the ship vanished, and it was believed that the crew was cursed to sail the seas forever. "Some say the ship appears to those who are in great danger," Old Man Jenkins said. "Others believe it is a warning of a terrible storm." He pulled out an old map and pointed to a spot marked with an X. "This is where the ship was last seen before it disappeared. It's a place known as Dead Man's Cove. Many ships have vanished there, never to be seen again." Chapter 4, The Lighthouse Keeper's Journal. While they were at Old Man Jenkins' house, he showed them an old journal. "This belonged to the last lighthouse keeper," he said. "He wrote about seeing the ghost ship too." The journal was filled with detailed entries about strange occurrences at the lighthouse. One entry caught their attention. June 15, 1876, "The fog was thick tonight. I saw the ghost ship again, closer this time. Its eerie glow lit up the fog, and I could see figures moving on deck. They were not of this world. I heard whispers on the wind, calling my name. I fear the curse of the ghost ship." The trio read the entry with wide eyes. The lighthouse keeper's descriptions matched what they had seen the night before. They felt a chill run down their spines. Chapter 5, The Encounter. Determined to learn more, Tommy, Sarah, and Jake decided to return to the lighthouse that night. They wanted to see the ghost ship again and, perhaps, uncover its secrets. As they reached the lighthouse, the fog was even thicker than before. The air was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant sound of the waves. They climbed the staircase and looked through the telescope. The ghost ship was there, closer this time. Suddenly, a strange, glowing figure appeared on the deck. It was the ghost of Captain Blackbeard. His eyes glowed with a sinister light, and he seemed to be looking directly at them. "Who dares to spy on my ship?" his voice echoed through the night. Terrified but determined, Tommy shouted back, we want to know your story. Why are you and your crew cursed? Captain Blackbeard's ghost seemed to consider this for a moment. Very well. But beware, for the truth is not for the faint of heart. Chapter 6, The Curse. Captain Blackbeard's ghost began to tell his tale. He spoke of a time when he and his crew ruled the seas, plundering ships and hiding their treasures. One fateful night, they stole a magical artifact from a powerful sorcerer. In his rage, the sorcerer cursed them, dooming them to sail the seas as ghosts forever. The only way to break the curse, Blackbeard said, is to return the artifact to its rightful place, deep within the ocean's depths. The trio listened in awe. They knew they had to help. With Old Man Jenkins' guidance, they discovered that the artifact was hidden in a cave beneath the lighthouse. Chapter 7, The Cave. The next day, armed with courage and determination, Tommy, Sarah, and Jake ventured into the cave. It was dark and damp, with narrow passages that seemed to go on forever. The walls were covered in strange, glowing moss that lit their way. As they went deeper, they heard the sound of water dripping and the echo of their footsteps. The air grew colder, and they felt a sense of unease. Finally, they reached a large chamber. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal, and on the pedestal lay the artifact, a glowing, ancient compass. The compass was beautiful, with intricate designs etched into its surface. It seemed to pulse with an inner light, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Tommy reached out and carefully picked it up. As he did, the ground shook, and they heard a low rumble. "We need to get out of here," Jake shouted. Chapter 8, The Escape. The trio hurried back through the cave, the rumbling growing louder with each step. The walls seemed to close in around them, and the air grew thick with dust. They stumbled and tripped, but their determination kept them moving forward. As they reached the entrance, a loud crash echoed through the cave, and the passage behind them collapsed. They made it out just in time, gasping for breath and covered in dirt. "We did it," Sarah said, holding up the compass. "Now we just need to return it to the ocean." Chapter 9, The Return. That night, they returned to the lighthouse. They signaled the ghost ship with a lantern, and once again, Captain Blackbeard appeared. "Take it," Tommy said, holding out the compass. "Return it to the ocean's depths and break the curse." Captain Blackbeard's ghost took the compass, a look of relief on his spectral face. "Thank you," he said. "You have freed us." With the compass in his possession, Captain Blackbeard and his ghostly crew sailed into the fog one last time. The ghost ship glowed brightly before vanishing into the night, never to be seen again. Chapter 10, The Aftermath. The legend of the ghost ship lived on, but the people of Harborville knew that it was now a story of courage and friendship. Tommy, Sarah, and Jake became heroes in their town, remembered for their bravery in uncovering the mystery of the Phantom of the Sea. The lighthouse, once a place of fear, became a symbol of their adventure. Old Man Jenkins often told their story to visitors, adding his own dramatic flair to the tale. The trio would sometimes visit him, sharing a knowing smile as he recounted their brave deeds. Chapter 11, The New Lighthouse Keeper. Years passed, and the trio grew older. Tommy, with his adventurous spirit, became the new lighthouse keeper. He kept the place well maintained and often gazed out at the sea, remembering the ghost ship and its haunting glow. One foggy night, much like the one when their adventure began, Tommy stood at the top of the lighthouse. He looked through the telescope, half expecting to see the ghost ship. Instead, he saw a fleet of boats returning safely to the harbor, guided by the lighthouse's steady beam. The curse had been broken, and the sea was once again a place of safety and adventure. Tommy smiled, knowing that he, Sarah, and Jake had played a part in changing the course of history. Chapter 12, The Legacy. The story of the ghost ship became a cherished legend in Harborville. Children would gather around the old lighthouse, listening to the tale of Tommy, Sarah, and Jake. The trio's bravery inspired many to explore, to face their fears, and to believe in the power of friendship. The lighthouse, once abandoned and feared, became a beacon of hope. Its light shone brightly, guiding sailors and reminding the townspeople of the adventure that changed their town forever. And so, the ghost ship sailed into history, its curse broken, leaving behind a tale that would be told for generations to come. The legend of the Phantom of the Sea lived on, but now it was a story of courage, friendship, and the unbreakable spirit of adventure.